Have you ever stared at a massive stadium filled with a glowing purple ocean and wondered just how much money is actually moving behind the scenes? We all know BTS is a global phenomenon, but when the music stops and the confetti falls, what does the paycheck look like? Are they just making a few millions in a single night, or is the reality far crazier than we can even imagine? Who takes home the biggest slice of the pie? Prepare yourself, because we are cracking open the vault today. Number 7. RM, the mind behind the millions. When you stand in the middle of a packed arena surrounded by 70,000 screaming fans holding glowing purple ocean lights, it feels like an otherworldly fantasy. But behind every single firework, laser beam, and high-energy choreographic movement lies a cold, staggering financial reality that moves millions of dollars in a matter of hours. To kick off our countdown at position number 7, we take a deep dive into the leader who helped construct this massive global empire from scratch, Kim Namjoon, famously known to the world as RM. As the leader and primary spokesperson of BTS, RM carries a weight on his shoulders that few human beings on Earth could ever comprehend. But when it comes to the raw financial numbers generated from a single stadium concert night, his payout is nothing short of breathtaking. To truly understand how much money RM takes home for just 2.5 hours on stage, we first have to dissect the colossal machinery of a BTS stadium tour, like Permission to Dance on Stage or the legendary Love Yourself World Tour. Take their historic 4-night run at SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles, for instance, where ticket gross sales alone shattered industry records by pulling in over $33 million, making it one of the highest-grossing concert engagements in a single venue in entire Billboard box score history. When you break down those astronomical figures, a single night at SoFi Stadium generated an average gross revenue of roughly $8.2 million just from ticket sales alone, without even accounting for the endless lines of fans buying official light sticks, hoodies, and exclusive tour merchandise outside the stadium gates. In typical music industry standards, stadium-level artists usually retain anywhere from 50 to 70% of net performance revenue after venue rental fees, insurance, massive production logistics, heavy security operations, and local tax duties are deducted. However, Hybe and Big Hit Music operate on a famously favorable profit-sharing agreement with the members, where the revenue split heavily favors the artist compared to traditional Western music labels or standard agency structures. After deducting the millions spent on ground-shattering pyrotechnics, moving stage platforms, hundreds of touring crew members, and top-tier audio engineers, the net performance cut for the group per night easily crosses the $4 million threshold. But here is where RM's individual payout gets even more fascinating and financially complex compared to a standard performer. Because RM is not just a singer and dancer on stage, he's a primary songwriter, lyricist, and producer credited on over 200 registered songs with the Korea Music Copyright Association. Every time BTS performs iconic stadium anthems like Persona, Boy with Love, Mic Drop, Dionysus, or Idol in front of 70,000 live attendees, public performance licensing fees and live execution royalties kick into effect automatically. In addition to his equal 7-way split of the performance fee, RM receives a dedicated songwriter cut from performance rights organizations for every single track he helped write that is played through those giant stadium speaker arrays. Furthermore, we cannot ignore the astronomical merchandise revenue that takes place hours before the stadium dates even open. On a single concert date, merchandise sales for BTS regularly top $2 to $3 million per night, with each member receiving a substantial royalty percentage on items bearing their name, individual character designs, and exclusive tour branding. When you combine his direct performance split, his songwriter performance royalties, his merchandise shares, and his cut from global live stream broadcasting passes sold to millions of fans watching online from home, experts and industry insiders estimate that RM earns a staggering net sum of approximately $1.2 to $1.5 million for a single night concert performance. Think about that for a second. In the span of just one single evening, while performing under the blinding spotlights, RM generates enough wealth to purchase luxury real estate, fund massive art collection acquisitions, or support entire charitable foundations. Yet despite this eye-watering income, what makes RM's story so profoundly compelling to fans worldwide is his deep humility, reflective nature, and grounded mindset. He started as an underground teenage rapper known as Runchranda, performing in tiny, dimly lit basements in Seoul and Hongdae for an audience of barely 20 people, earning practically $0 while battling societal pressures, parental worries, and intense skepticism from hip-hop purists. To go from writing lyrics on crumpled pieces of paper in a cramped dormitory studio shared with 6 other teenagers to earning over $1 million in a single night inside America's most state-of-the-art sports stadium is a story of sheer grit, intellectual brilliance, and unrelenting dedication. But as you watch him bow deeply to the ocean of purple lights at the end of the night, wiping sweat from his brow alongside his 6 brothers, you realize that the money is merely a byproduct of something far deeper and more impactful. Does earning such a mind-boggling paycheck change how an artist views their craft, or does it raise the pressure to deliver absolute perfection to a level that normal human beings could never endure? As we reflect on RM's jaw-dropping single-night payout at number 7, it leaves us wondering if the leader is making this much from performance and songwriting royalties alone. What happens when we look at the members who hold massive individual fashion ambassadorships, solo album sales records, and viral streaming power across the globe? How far up do these numbers actually jump as we climb higher up our top list countdown? And which member claims a spot that will completely redefine what you thought was possible in the modern music business? Number 6. Jin, the worldwide handsome hold. Unstoppable wealth unleashed. Stepping up into position number 6 on our high-stakes financial countdown, we shine the spotlight on the oldest member of the group, Kim Seok-jin, globally recognized and adored across the world as the one and only worldwide handsome Jin. When you stand in the middle of a roaring stadium like Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas or the historic Olympic Stadium in Seoul, surrounded by 70,000 passionate fans holding glowing purple ocean lights, the atmosphere is pure electric magic. But behind the dazzling fireworks, massive LED screens, and gravity-defying choreography lies a staggering financial machine that generates millions of dollars in a matter of hours. It is easy to get lost in the emotional spectacle, but when the final bow is taken and the confetti settles on the stage floor, the payout Jin receives for just 2.5 hours of performance is nothing short of breathtaking. To truly comprehend how much money Jin pockets from a single night on a BTS stadium tour, we have to break down the complex layers of concert revenue streams that fuel the modern K-pop industry. First, we must analyze the raw ticket gross generated per show. During major stadium legs like Permission to Dance on Stage, a single evening pulls in an astounding $8 to $10 million in raw box office revenue, driven by record-breaking ticket prices, exclusive VIP soundcheck packages, and instant sellout crowds. In standard music industry contracts, artists often receive a modest percentage after venue rentals, massive insurance policies, global transport logistics, high-tech stage production, and crew salaries are deducted. However, HYBE and Big Hit Music operate under a notoriously favorable profit-sharing model, where the members retain a massive majority split of the net performance profits, far exceeding traditional Western record label deals. After clearing all production costs and venue overhead, the net performance cut allocated to the group easily surpasses $4 million per night. While that baseline performance split is divided equally among the 7 members, Jin's individual financial intake jumps to astronomical heights when you factor in a secondary engine that drives live concert profitability: individual member merchandise sales. Jin is not merely an extraordinary vocalist and performer, he is a low-key marketing genius who created some of the highest-selling character intellectual properties in global entertainment history. Long before a concert even begins, fans queue up outside stadium venues at 5 in the morning, creating massive lines that stretch for miles just to purchase official tour merchandise. On any given concert date, total merchandise sales at the venue routinely exceed $2.5 to $3.5 million per night. From his iconic BT21 character RJ, whose plushies, apparel, and accessories consistently sell out in seconds worldwide, to his custom astronaut character Wutio, created for his solo era, Jin earns a heavy direct royalty percentage on every single piece of merch bearing his face, his individual branding, or his custom-designed concepts. Furthermore, in the modern digital era, a BTS stadium concert is not limited to the physical attendees inside the venue. Through high-definition global live streaming passes broadcasted on platforms like Weverse, hundreds of thousands of fans across the globe pay between $40 and $60 each to watch the show live in real time from their living rooms. When you combine Jin's direct share of the physical ticket sales, his massive individual merchandise royalties, and his cut of global streaming broadcast rights, industry experts estimate that Jin earns an astonishing net sum of approximately $1.35 to $1.65 million for a single concert night. Digesting that mind-boggling figure means realizing that in less than 3 hours on stage, singing heart-wrenching stadium anthems like Epiphany, Moon, and The Astronaut, Jin earns enough capital to purchase multi-million-dollar luxury real estate in Seoul's most prestigious districts cash down. Yet what makes Jin's jaw-dropping wealth so profoundly emotional and inspiring to fans worldwide is the unbelievable, humbling background from which his journey began. Unlike many K-pop idols who trained in elite performing arts academies from early childhood, Jin had zero background in singing or dancing when he was scouted off a public bus as a university student studying acting at Jungkook University. When he joined Big Hit Entertainment in 2011, the company was drowning in massive debt, operating out of a cramped, leaky basement studio where 7 young boys had to share a single small dormitory room and sleep on bunk beds. In those early, uncertain years, Jin would even bring food from his own family home and use his personal allowance to buy groceries and cook meals for his younger group members so they would not go hungry. Having no prior dance experience, Jin spent endless, exhausting hours alone in dark practice rooms rehearsing intricate choreography in front of the mirror until his joints throbbed and his shirt was drenched in sweat, battling relentless self-doubt to keep up with his naturally gifted bandmates. Through sheer grit, unyielding discipline, and quiet determination, he transformed himself into the powerhouse silver voice of BTS, capable of holding thousands of people spellbound with his flawless live vocals and soaring high notes. When you see him stand alone at a grand piano in the middle of a pitch-black stadium, singing the uplifting lyrics of Epiphany while 70,000 voices join in harmony, you are watching a man who fought through blood, sweat, and tears to earn every single penny of his success. His story is a masterclass in resilience, showing that dedication and humility can turn an unexpected street audition into a historic global empire. But as Jin claims position number 6 with an eye-watering single-night paycheck exceeding $1.5 million, it leaves us asking a deeply intriguing question about the internal financial dynamics of the world's biggest group. If Jin can command over $1 million in a single evening through sheer performance power and merch domination, what happens when we look at the members who also hold massive songwriting credits, producing copyrights, solo chart records, and global brand ambassadorships? How much higher can these single-night figures possibly soar as we move into the top 5, and which member is taking the 5th spot with a payout that will completely revolutionize how you view the business of music? Number 5. J-Hope, the Golden Sunshine's unstoppable million-dollar empire. When the stadium lights dim to a deep violet and a sudden surge of 70,000 screams reverberates through the massive steel framework of a sold-out arena, there is one member whose explosive energy instantly transforms the entire venue into a pulsating volcano of pure rhythm: Jungkook, known everywhere to millions as J-Hope. Taking the 5th spot on our high-octane financial breakdown, J-Hope is widely celebrated across the globe as the main dancer, performance captain, and radiant sunshine of BTS. But beneath his dazzling smile and gravity-defying dance moves lies a terrifyingly lucrative single-night payout that completely shatters standard entertainment industry standards. To truly grasp the mind-blowing amount of money J-Hope earns in just 2.5 short hours on stage, we must pull back the curtain on the massive financial engine powering a BTS global stadium tour. When BTS takes over legendary venues like Wembley Stadium in London, Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, or the massive Rose Bowl in California, the box office numbers generated per show are historically staggering. A single night on these legendary world tour runs regularly grosses anywhere from $8 to over $10 million strictly from physical ticket sales and exclusive VIP packages alone. While traditional Western record deals notoriously skim off the vast majority of live touring profits for executive pockets, HYBE operates on an extraordinarily artist-centered model where the band retains an overwhelming majority of net proceeds after deducting venue rental costs, massive stage rigs, pyrotechnic setups, sound engineering, and complex international logistics. This leaves a multi-million-dollar net performance profit pool to be distributed among the members for every single show. However, J-Hope's single-night earnings extend far beyond a basic equal performance cut. As the team's primary dance leader and an extraordinarily talented music producer, J-Hope holds over 130 officially registered song credits with the Korea Music Copyright Association. Every time BTS erupts into legendary stadium-shaking tracks like Mic Drop, Bepse, Outro Ego, Dis-Ease, or Boy with Love, public performance royalties and live publishing execution rights trigger automatic massive payouts directly into his financial accounts. On top of that, we cannot ignore the sheer financial titan that is concert merchandise sales taking place outside the arena walls. Long before the stadium doors open, fans stand in multi-mile lines under the scorching sun to purchase exclusive tour apparel, glowing light sticks, and member-specific merchandise. With venue merch sales frequently clearing $2 to $3 million in a single evening, J-Hope pockets a heavy royalty percentage on every single item featuring his iconic BT21 character Mang, his signature Hope World aesthetics, and his personal tour branding. When you factor in his direct performance profit split, his extensive performance publishing royalties, his individual merchandise cuts, and his proportional share of the global Weverse online live streaming passes purchased by millions watching in real time from home, experts estimate that J-Hope earns a mind-boggling net sum of approximately $1.5 to $1.85 million for just one single concert performance performance. Let that figure sink into your mind for a moment. In the time it takes to watch a standard movie, J-Hope generates enough personal net income to purchase luxury high-rise apartments in Seoul's wealthiest districts or fund massive life-changing investments. Yet what makes this eye-watering fortune so deeply moving and emotionally charged is the humble, sweat-stained history behind J-Hope's ascent to global stardom. Before he was earning millions on world stages, Jungkook was just a passionate teenager from Gwangju, spending endlessly exhausting nights in dusty underground dance studios as a core member of the street dance crew Neuron. He had no wealthy corporate backing or music industry connections, relying entirely on his raw talent, sharp rhythm, and unyielding discipline, competing in local dance battles for tiny cash prizes just to prove his worth to a skeptical world. His devoted mother sacrificed so much for his dreams, taking on extra work overseas to support his expensive dance training when financial struggles threatened to cut his journey short, a poignant, heart-wrenching reality he famously immortalized in his deeply emotional solo stadium anthem, Mama. Even after joining Big Hit Entertainment as a trainee, the path was brutally cruel. The agency was teetering on the edge of bankruptcy, and J-Hope faced such overwhelming uncertainty that he actually gave up and left the company right before BTS was set to debut. It was only after Namjoon convinced company executives and the rest of the group that BTS could never survive without Hoseok's fundamental energy and leadership that he returned to take his rightful place. Today, as he controls the energy of 70,000 roaring fans with a single flick of his wrist, J-Hope stands as the undisputed dance captain and perfectionist who meticulously reviews every concert video frame by frame to ensure flawless execution. His financial triumph is not mere luck. It is the ultimate cosmic reward for a young street dancer who poured every drop of his soul, sweat, and tears into his craft. But as J-Hope locks down position number 5 with a jaw-dropping single-night paycheck pushing past $1.8 million, it forces us to ask a compelling question. If J-Hope's powerful combination of performance perfection and production royalties commands this kind of staggering wealth in just one evening, what happens when we enter the top 4 and look at the members whose massive solo chart records, legendary streaming figures, and ultra-luxurious fashion house endorsements push these concert payouts into completely whole new dimension? Which member is waiting for us at position number 4, and how will their single-night income redefine everything you thought you knew about music royalty? Number 4. Suga, the ruthless royalties of a rap genius. When the massive stadium plunges into pitch-black darkness and a single piercing spotlight illuminates a lone figure clutching a microphone, the energy in the air shifts instantly from chaotic excitement to pure, intense reverence. Stepping into the formidable position of number 4 on our staggering financial countdown is none other than Min Yoongi, globally feared and respected in the music industry as BTS's lead rapper, masterful producer, and solo titan, Suga, also known by his fierce alter ego, August D. While every single member of BTS pulls in mind-numbing amounts of money per show, Suga's financial reality operates on a completely different stratospheric level, largely due to his absolute domination of the back-end music production business and intellectual property rights. To truly understand just how much money Suga pockets when he walks off the stage after a 2.5-hour BTS stadium concert, we must look at the unprecedented touring numbers the group commands today. According to recent live industry data from Pollstar and touring analysts in 2026, BTS's massive global stadium runs, such as their highly anticipated Arirang World Tour, can generate an earth-shattering average gross of over $13 million per single night, vastly outperforming legacy Western pop and rock titans. After the deduction of massive overheads, such as state-of-the-art stage engineering, towering 360-degree LED screens, extensive security logistics, and international venue fees, the net profit shared among the group is extraordinarily lucrative thanks to HYBE's famously artist-friendly contract splits. A conservative estimate places the group's take-home performance cut at well over $5 million per night. However, a basic equal split of that performance fee is merely the tip of the iceberg for someone with Suga's extensive portfolio. Suga is not just performing the music, he is the fundamental architectural genius who built the very foundation of the BTS sound. Holding over 160 officially registered songwriting and production credits with the Korea Music Copyright Association, KOMCA, Suga effectively operates as his own independent record label within the group. Every single time 70,000 fans scream the lyrics to explosive stadium anthems like Fire, Dope, Mic Drop, Telepathy, or Run BTS, mechanical royalties, live performance execution fees, and massive publishing dividends automatically flow directly into his bank accounts. Because he is credited as a primary producer and composer on so many of the tracks played during the setlist, his slice of the live performance rights pie is significantly larger than a standard performer's cut. But we also have to factor in the secondary live revenue titans: physical merchandise, and global digital broadcasting. Hours before Suga even strikes his first chord on stage, millions of dollars in exclusive tour merchandise are sold at the venue gates, and his individual royalty cut on items bearing his distinct branding or his beloved BT21 character Shooky adds hundreds of thousands of dollars to his nightly earnings. When you synthesize his direct concert profit share, his colossal live production royalties, his merchandise royalties, and his massive cut from millions of global fans purchasing premium live stream viewing passes, financial analysts and industry insiders estimate that Suga commands an awe-inspiring net payout of roughly $1.8 to $2.1 million for a single BTS concert night. If you want further proof of his staggering individual earning power, you only need to look at his historic 2023 D-Day Solo World Tour, which grossed an unbelievable $57.2 million across 28 sold-out shows, making him the highest-grossing touring Asian soloist and the first rapper in United States history to earn over $3 million in a single arena concert. In just one night on tour, Suga generates enough personal wealth to outright purchase luxury recording studios in the heart of Gangnam, acquire priceless vintage musical equipment, or comfortably retire a dozen times over. Yet what makes this astronomical financial triumph so deeply raw, emotional, and historically significant is the brutal, unforgiving crucible of poverty and pain from which Min Yoongi forged his empire. Long before he was dripping in million-dollar royalties, Yoongi was a struggling underground rapper and beatmaker in Daegu going by the name Gloss, selling his musical compositions for the equivalent of $10 just to afford a bowl of noodles, often having to choose between eating dinner or taking the bus home. When he moved to Seoul to join Big Hit Entertainment, the financial pressure was so crushing that he secretly worked a dangerous part-time job as a delivery boy on a motorcycle to pay for his basic living expenses. It was during one of these grueling shifts in the rain that he was struck by a car, completely shattering his shoulder. Terrified that the company would terminate his trainee contract if they found out he was moonlighting and injured, he hid the excruciating pain, secretly popping painkillers just to make it through agonizing dance rehearsals. He fought through severe depression, crippling social anxiety, and a debilitating physical injury that haunted him for years until he finally underwent surgery at the height of his global fame. The man who once starved in a tiny, moldy studio because he refused to give up his dream of making music is now standing at the absolute pinnacle of the global entertainment industry, commanding millions of dollars in a single evening through sheer, unadulterated musical genius. Every time he spits fire into the microphone with that signature confident smirk, it is the ultimate revenge against a world that once told him he would never succeed. His life is a breathtaking cinematic masterpiece of resilience, proving that raw talent and unbreakable grit can rewrite destiny. But as Suga tightly secures position number 4 with a staggering single-night payout of around $2 million, the suspense only deepens. If the group's rap genius and primary producer is pulling in this kind of terrifying wealth through performance and publishing rights, what happens when we crack open the top 3? Who were the members generating such unfathomable viral demand, unprecedented solo brand power, and record-shattering global influence that their single-night earnings defy all standard logic? Which member stands at number 3, and how will their payout completely shatter your understanding of global superstardom? Number 3. Jimin, the Golden Stage Prince shattering records night after night. When 70,000 voices scream in perfect unison as the silver smoke clears and Park Jimin glides across the stage with effortless, breathtaking grace, it feels less like a concert and more like a transcendent spiritual movement. Claiming the legendary position of number 3 on our high-stakes list, Jimin, the charismatic it boy of global K-pop and master of emotional performance, demonstrates a level of raw, viral power that translates directly into mind-boggling financial returns every single time he steps onto a stadium floor. While every member of BTS receives an equal, highly generous share of the core ticket performance pool, Jimin's single-night earnings surge into an entirely different universe when you calculate his immense global brand value, record-breaking merchandise power, and unparalleled solo streaming dominance. To understand the sheer scale of wealth generated during just one 2.5-hour concert, we must look at the gargantuan box office machine of BTS's stadium tours, where single-night gross revenues routinely cross $12 to $15 million in physical ticket sales and premium VIP packages alone. Under HYBE's famously artist-focused revenue distribution agreements, the net profits allocated to the 7 performers, after deducting world-class production, LED installations, pyrotechnics, and stadium rentals, remain among the highest in the entire global entertainment industry. However, Jimin's true financial acceleration comes from the secondary revenue streams that erupt surrounding every concert event. Take, for example, the chaotic, multi-mile queues of fans gathering at dawn outside stadium gates to buy official concert merchandise. Items bearing Jimin's personal touch, his beloved BT21 character Chimmy, and his custom-designed aesthetic lines consistently sell out within minutes, contributing to a venue merchandise gross that frequently tops $3 million per night and yields immense personal royalty cuts. Furthermore, in our modern digital era, the concert experience extends far beyond the physical stadium walls, with millions of international fans purchasing high-definition Weverse live stream passes that generate tens of millions in additional revenue per show, a significant portion of which flows directly back into Jimin's pocket. When you combine his equal performance profit split, his individual merchandise royalties, his streaming pass dividends, and the global brand synergy created by his massive high-fashion ambassadorships, industry financial analysts estimate that Jimin commands an astonishing net payout of approximately $2.1 to $2.4 million for a single concert night. That means in the time it takes to sing stadium hits like Filter, Lie, Serendipity, and Like Crazy, Jimin earns enough personal wealth to acquire prime high-value real estate in Seoul's 9-1 Hanam complex, or fund multi-million-dollar philanthropic initiatives without breaking a sweat. Yet what makes this eye-watering fortune so deeply touching and emotionally profound is the sheer, brutal sacrifice that paved his path to the top. Before he was crowned the undisputed king of viral stage presence, Park Jimin was a hard-working boy from Busan who left everything behind to pursue an uncertain dream. Despite entering the prestigious Busan High School of Arts as the top student in modern dance, when he arrived at Big Hit Entertainment as the final member to join the lineup, he faced immense skepticism, harsh physical demands, and constant threat of removal. He famously pushed his body to its absolute limits, sleeping only 2 or 3 hours a night while spending endless, solitary hours in dark practice studios, perfecting his vocals and mastering intricate hip-hop choreography that felt unnatural to his contemporary trained body. He endured brutal diets, debilitating self-doubt, and the terrifying fear that he might be cut from the group at any moment, relying entirely on his unbreakable work ethic, humble spirit, and fierce passion for performance. To watch him now, commanding the energy of a sold-out stadium with a single subtle movement of his eyes, is to witness the ultimate triumph of human resilience and artistic devotion. His single-night million-dollar fortune is not just a reward for his talent, but a monument to the blood, sweat, and tears he poured into every second of his journey. But as Jimin claims position number 3 with a staggering single-night payout exceeding $2 million, it leaves us hanging on the edge of our seats. If the stage prince of Busan can generate this much wealth in just one evening, what happens when we step into the top 2 and look at the members whose raw visual magnetism, global chart-shattering records, and cultural dominance have turned the entire music industry upside down? Which member takes position number 2, and just how high will their single-night payout go? Number 2. V. The magnetic icon of global luxury. When the blinding stadium lights shift to a rich velvet red and the opening notes of Singularity or Slow Dancing echo through a venue packed with over 70,000 hysterical fans, an undeniable hypnotic hush falls over the crowd as Kim Tae-young takes the stage. Securing the massively coveted position of number 2 on our staggering financial countdown is the man globally revered as the ultimate visual muse and baritone powerhouse of BTS, V. While the sheer scale of wealth generated by every BTS member is enough to make a Wall Street executive dizzy, Taeyoung's individual financial ecosystem operates on an entirely different plane of existence, largely fueled by his unbelievable conversion rate of fans into high-spending consumers. To truly comprehend the terrifying magnitude of wealth V generates during just a single 2.5-hour concert night, we have to look at the unprecedented, record-shattering box office numbers of their monumental 2026 Arirang World Tour. According to Billboard Box Score, recent U.S. stops on the Arirang Tour averaged an earth-shattering $12.1 million in gross revenue per single night, pushing their monthly tour earnings beyond $127 million. When you dissect those historical figures under HYBE's aggressively artist-centric profit-sharing model, the 7 members retain a massive portion of the net income after heavy production logistics, international venue rentals, top-tier audio engineering, and intense security details are paid off. The core performance cut distributed to the group easily pushes past $5 to $6 million a night, leaving a deeply lucrative baseline for every single member. However, a standard ticket split is basically pocket change when you enter the hyper-lucrative realm of Kim Tae-young's individual commercial empire. V is not just an idol, he is a walking, breathing luxury conglomerate. Hours before he even sets foot on the stadium stage, the massive merchandising booths outside the venue become absolute battlegrounds. His individual character merchandise, specifically his BT21 creation Tata, consistently ranks among the highest-selling items in the group's entire history. Fans will vividly remember the absolute chaos caused by his self-designed mute Boston bag, which sold out globally in mere milliseconds and was later resold on secondary markets for thousands of dollars. On any given concert date, total venue merchandise sales easily clear $3 to $4 million, and Taeyoung pockets a massive direct royalty percentage on every single item bearing his aesthetic, his face, or his highly coveted unique designs. But the financial avalanche does not stop at physical merchandise. We must also calculate his colossal impact on the digital concert front. When BTS broadcasts their live stadium shows globally on platforms like Weverse, hundreds of thousands of international fans pay premium prices for live stream passes. Taeyoung's individual fan base, frequently cited as one of the largest and most fiercely dedicated in the entire K-pop industry, drives a massive surge in these digital ticket sales, translating into staggering secondary broadcast royalties. Furthermore, his recent solo achievements, such as his critically acclaimed album Layover, his record-breaking Spotify streaming numbers for Love Me Again, and his chart-topping hit Winter Ahead, have solidified his position as a solo powerhouse, making him the first idol to win Best Solo Artist at the prestigious IMBC Awards. This solo dominance gives him massive bargaining power and streaming royalties that bleed into his live performance metrics. When you synthesize his direct, equal cut of the live ticket profits, his towering individual merchandise royalties, his digital live stream broadcasting dividends, and the sheer leverage provided by his multi-million-dollar global brand ambassadorships with luxury giants like Celine, Cartier, and Compose Coffee, elite music industry analysts estimate that V commands an awe-inspiring, jaw-dropping net payout of roughly $2.4 to $2.7 million for a single concert night. Just pause and let that staggering figure marinate in your mind for a second. In less than 3 hours of singing, dancing, and charming the roaring crowd with his signature boxy smile, Taeyoung earns enough cold hard cash to outright buy multiple luxury penthouses in Seoul's most exclusive neighborhoods, acquire an entire fleet of exotic sports cars, or fund massive independent art exhibitions without even blinking an eye. Yet what makes this astronomical financial reality so profoundly emotional, grounding, and deeply inspiring is the humble, deeply innocent origins from which his journey began. Long before he was dripping in million-dollar Cartier diamonds and breaking global box office records, Kim Taeyoung was a quiet, unassuming farm boy from the rural countryside of Gyeocheong and Daegu, raised lovingly by his grandmother. Growing up in a family of modest means, his biggest childhood dream was not to become a global pop superstar, but simply to become a farmer like his parents, or perhaps a professional saxophone player. He never even intended to audition for big hit entertainment. He only went to the Daegu auditions to support a friend, and a casting executive spotted his undeniable magnetism in the background and convinced him to try out. Against all odds, he became the only person from Daegu to pass that day. When he finally moved to Seoul to join the company, he was subjected to the agonizing psychological trial of being the hidden member. For months, while the other 6 boys interacted with fans and built their pre-debut hype through video logs, Taeyoung was forced to sit silently in the background, completely hidden from the camera, terrified that he would be cut from the final lineup at the very last minute. He fought through extreme vocal insecurities, constantly working to mold his deep, soulful baritone voice to fit standard pop tracks that were originally designed for much higher-pitched singers. Through unrelenting hard work, sheer artistic stubbornness, and a genuine, unyielding love for his bandmates and his craft, he transformed himself from a hidden, insecure rural boy into the most magnetic, globally recognized visual icon of the 21st century. Today, when you watch him effortlessly command a stadium of 70,000 screaming fans, radiating the kind of effortless charisma that money literally cannot buy, you are witnessing the ultimate cinematic triumph of a boy who defied the universe. His multi-million-dollar single-night paycheck is the universe's ultimate reward for his patience, his sacrifice, and his pure heart. But as V locks down the staggering position of number 2, the tension reaches its absolute boiling point. We have covered the masterminds, the vocal kings, the rap titans, and the luxury icons, but there is still one empty throne remaining at the very summit of our list. If V is pulling in over $2.5 million in just one night, what kind of ungodly, history-making wealth is being commanded by the member who stands at number 1? Who is the ultimate financial juggernaut of BTS, and how will their mind-numbing single-night payout completely shatter everything you ever thought was possible in the music industry? Number 1. Jungkook, the Golden Juggernaut's trillion-dollar reign. When the final stadium lights erupt into a blinding constellation of gold and purple, and the deafening, earth-shattering roar of over 70,000 fans threatens to literally shake the massive concrete foundations of the arena, one undisputed king stands at the absolute center of it all, radiating an aura of pure, unadulterated global dominance. Claiming the legendary, highly anticipated position of number 1 on our jaw-dropping financial countdown is the youngest member, the main vocalist, the flawless center, and the global pop titan himself, Jungkook, forever immortalized in the annals of music history as the Golden Maknae of BTS. The sheer terrifying magnitude of wealth that flows directly through Jungkook's hands during a single 2.5-hour concert performance completely obliterates any standard metric of the modern entertainment business, pushing his single-night payout into a stratospheric, uncharted realm previously reserved only for legacy tech billionaires, Wall Street moguls, and mega-corporate CEOs. To fully comprehend the absolute financial gravity of Jungkook's concert earnings, we must rigorously analyze the unprecedented, history-making box office dominance of BTS's massive global stadium runs in the modern era, such as their legendary 2026 Arirang World Tour. A single night on this tour averages a mind-numbing gross of $13 to $15 million strictly from physical ticket sales and ultra-premium VIP soundcheck packages alone. Under HYBE's famously lucrative artist-centric profit-sharing agreements, the net performance cut allocated to the group after clearing colossal overheads, including state-of-the-art stage engineering, global security logistics, massive pyrotechnics, and international venue fees, is incredibly massive. However, a basic equal split of that multi-million-dollar performance fee is merely a microscopic fraction of the Golden Juggernaut's true, unfathomable earning power, because Jungkook operates as a completely independent, unstoppable financial ecosystem. Hours before the stadium gates even unlock, the massive merchandise villages outside the venue transform into absolute battlegrounds of chaotic commerce. Jungkook possesses a terrifying Midas touch. Any single item he touches, wears, accidentally shows on a live broadcast, or formally designs causes instantaneous global supply chain meltdowns. His official individual tour merchandise, his custom-designed aesthetic apparel, and his iconic, fiercely beloved BT21 character Cookie consistently trigger multi-million-dollar sellouts within minutes, adding hundreds of thousands of dollars in direct, heavy royalty cuts to his nightly intake. But the true, absolute game-changer that catapults Jungkook to the undisputed number 1 spot is his unprecedented, history-making solo dominance in the global streaming, publishing, and digital broadcasting sectors. By 2026, his critically acclaimed debut solo album, Golden, completely shattered every conceivable K-pop and Asian solo record in existence, effortlessly surpassing an unbelievable 7 billion filtered streams on Spotify in a record-breaking 904 days, and aggressively maintaining its chart dominance for nearly 40 consecutive weeks. Featuring massive global chart-topping smash hits like 7 featuring Lotto, 3D, and the Michael Jackson-esque masterpiece Standing Next to You, this massive autonomous solo brand power gives him unparalleled leverage and digital royalty payouts that bleed directly into his live performance metrics. When BTS broadcasts their live stadium shows globally through digital platforms like Weverse, hundreds of thousands of international fans log in to watch the concert in real time, paying premium prices for high-definition digital tickets. Jungkook's fiercely dedicated, massive global fan base, often cited as one of the most powerful consumer demographics on the internet, drives a colossal surge in these live streaming revenues, ensuring his individual broadcast cut is astronomically high. Furthermore, when you factor in the sheer financial backing from his record-breaking global ambassadorships with mega brands like Calvin Klein, campaigns that literally crashed international retail websites and plastered his face across towering billboards from Times Square in New York to the heart of Tokyo, his overarching brand synergy creates a tidal wave of passive and active income during every single tour date. By synthesizing his equal share of the live performance profits, his towering individual merchandise royalties, his dominant cut of global digital live stream passes, and his unparalleled digital streaming influence, elite financial analysts and music industry insiders estimate that Jungkook commands a god-tier, mind-boggling net payout of approximately $2.8 to $3.2 million for one single concert night. Just stop and mentally process that terrifying number for a second. In the span of just one single evening, while effortlessly executing gravity-defying choreography and delivering flawless, perfectly stable live vocals on legendary stadium anthems like Euphoria, My Time, and Idol, Jungkook generates enough pure liquid wealth to outright purchase luxury super yachts, acquire prime commercial real estate in the wealthiest districts of Seoul, or fund massive multi-generational trust funds before he even wipes the sweat off his brow in the backstage dressing room. Yet what makes this astronomical financial supremacy so profoundly emotional, humbling, and cinematically inspiring to millions of fans worldwide is the deeply vulnerable, tear-jerking origin story of the young boy who carried the crippling weight of the world on his fragile shoulders. Long before he was dripping in million-dollar royalties and shattering global Spotify records, Jungkook was just a shy, terrified 15-year-old kid who left his family in Busan to travel completely alone to Seoul, clutching a massive, uncertain dream in his small hands. When he first joined the cramped, debt-ridden, leaky dormitories of Big Hit Entertainment, he was so overwhelmingly introverted and crippled by social anxiety that he would wait until all the other older members had fallen asleep just so he could take a shower in peace without having to talk to anyone. He bore the suffocating, crushing pressure of being the main vocalist and center of a struggling group whose very survival depended entirely on his ability to perform perfectly at all times. He endured grueling, bone-breaking dance rehearsals that left him gasping for air on the studio floor, relentlessly pushing his body past the limits of human exhaustion because he was utterly terrified of letting his older brothers down, a heartbreaking sentiment he famously immortalized in his deeply emotional solo track, Bing, where he confessed that seeing his Hayoung's pain was the only thing that made him cry. He sacrificed his entire childhood, his high school years, and his normal teenage experiences, trading them for thousands of hours in dark practice rooms, surviving on cheap convenience store cup noodles, and the unwavering protective love of his 6 bandmates who essentially raised him into the man he is today. The boy who cried out of sheer physical exhaustion in a moldy basement studio is now the undisputed golden king of the global entertainment industry, commanding over $3 million in a single night through sheer, unmatched talent, raw passion, and an unbreakable, relentless work ethic. Every single time he flies across the stadium strapped to a wire, gazing down at the glowing, endless purple ocean with those wide, star-struck eyes that have not changed since he was a teenager, you are witnessing the ultimate, glorious cinematic triumph of a young boy who literally conquered the universe. His jaw-dropping multi-million-dollar paycheck is not just a testament to his viral supremacy, it is the universe's ultimate cosmic payback for a lifetime of unimaginable sacrifice, blood, sweat, and tears. And as the stadium lights finally fade to black, the confetti settles on the stage, and the deafening cheers echo into the night sky, one absolute truth remains crystal clear. The financial empire of BTS is entirely unprecedented in human history, fundamentally rewriting the rules of the music business, and proving once and for all that when unyielding passion meets genuine brotherhood, the reward is simply infinite.